Hey everyone. Yesterday we've gotten Guardian Blade Charlotte and Emperor Vlad, but today we are only looking at Guardian Blade Charlotte, or Charlotte just as I will call her henceforth, because spelling out her full name is kind of tedious. So yeah, how does she fare? Let's find out. The basic overview is: in her base form, Charlotte is an ice physical finisher. And in her Brave Shift, with the Brave Shift, if you're seeing this in-game or watching this in-game, it does give off that Lauren Brave Shift vibe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I get that Lauren Brave Shift vibe from her. But she's a flexible element chainer, and we'll get to that in a second. So her abilities in base form. Well, yeah, I guess you can see already on the screen that she has two main abilities, Snowstorm Brandish and Freezing Strike. Both are single hit attacks that hit technically pretty hard at either 210x after 2 uses for Snowstorm Brandish, or 225x for Freezing Strike. The other really cool thing is she either has 40% magic mitigation on her in her kit, or 50% if you use the magic Shelga +2. The other really cool thing is, look at Snowflake Shield. It's an 80% general mitigation for 3 turns, 4 uses per battle. That is crazy good, but it's the only good thing about her whole kit. If you're taking a close look, for example, at Freezing Strike, she only buffs herself by 250 attack, and spoilers, she has no 300% attack buff in her entire kit. Also, only 150% LB buff, which all to me speaks that she was not meant to be a 1 year in Neo Vision unit. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Charlotte was 100%, 1000% guaranteed to be released at the beginning of Neo Vision, just to flatten the curve between 7 stars and 8 stars or Neo Vision units, because you will see that later on her damage isn't all that good, and I believe that if it weren't for her STMR with the static attack, she'd be perfect for the transition from 7 star to Neo Vision. Regarding her passives, probably the most interesting part here is the 100% chain modifier cap increase for a true double hand unit. That's cool, just SOS Lightning STMR here, and we got the 6x cap on a true double hand unit. So that's good. Also 200% passive Reaper Killer. It's good, but Noctis is still around, and Noctis deals like twice as much damage as her, so. Yeah, Hell LB. Oh, the magic, I also included the magic here. I mentioned this, 50% magic mitigation. DLB, a laughable ice attack at 115x. Nothing really too exciting these days anymore. When we've got the Dane with his 295 or 265, I'm not quite sure which one it is, but we've gotten to the 200s already, and there's nothing to really be super excited about this. The Brave Shift, as you can see, 3 elements, ice, wind, lightning, though I would heavily suggest to either use ice or wind, because as you can see, the lightning attack only is 55x. As you can see, she does not have any 130 imperil, which also further convinces me or proves that she is definitely not a 1 year in unit. Even her Grandis is only 120 imperil to the 3 aforementioned abilities, not a single 130 imperil. Sorry, you can't sell a unit like this to me, or shouldn't to anyone else. Also, regarding her lightning attacks, there is a 66x ability. Yes, I can see that myself. Why there is one in there, I don't know. I mean, one is attacking all enemies, the other one is one enemy, but it's still weaker than the other two, so. Yeah, at least she can dual wield in her Brave Shift and has the 6x cap innately. That's something. And her Brave Shifted LB, a 110x chaining LB with 24 frames, So it may be, I'm not quite sure, I don't have her, but 24x would suggest that this might be Stardust Ray Frames or Absolute Mirror of Equity. I'm not quite sure. It should be either of those, but considering she does chain Absolute Mirror of Equity, it may be as well. But 24 hits, we do have plenty of units that also do have 24 hits, such as Lightning, for example. Should be fairly easy to chain with. Alright, so let's move on to the TMR and Trustmaster, because things are getting a little bit more interesting here. So her materia, the Trustmaster, is 50% attack and spirit, and 50% LB damage. I think this is the best thing about her kit. Not only is it LB damage, which I personally like, but also attack and spirit. Now that may seem like a super weird combination, but keeping in mind that Charlotte usually was a tank in previous iterations, this is a pretty good material. I was surprised to see it like that. And it's also a great, if not awesome, materia for Shoyu, who is a spirit-based LB finisher in Brave Shift. She's gonna love that. But you're not gonna pull hopefully you're not gonna pull Charlotte for meta damage, because the only reason I could see you pulling for Charlotte is because you love the sprite and love waifus, but there is no other logical reason to pull for her. Her Super Trustmaster then is either a greatsword, or if you reforge it, it's a one-handed sword. So as a greatsword, it's two-handed with 1 to 1.6x variance, 190 attack, and it gives you 700 static attack and spirit. If you make this one out to a one-handed weapon, it loses 10 attacks, it's 180, and it slashes the static attack and spirit by half to 350. Now, generally speaking, the values seem good. The attack on the greatsword is okay. It is tied with Kingdom Hearts, Clouds, Buster Sword. Is it Buster Sword? I don't know if that's the actual name, but Kingdom Hearts, Cloud Super STMR is also 190 attack. Has no static attack and spirit though, so that's the upside. But if you have, for example, Noppi's STMR, which is superior to this in every way, has more attack, better passives, the killers mainly, and or Cloud's STMR, Kingdom Hearts Cloud's STMR, there is no reason to get Charlotte's STMR other than using it on herself, basically because of that 700 static attack and spirit. And again, this is, if you were to take away the 700 static attack and spirit and put Charlotte at the beginning 1 year ago of New Vision, she would have made so much more sense than right now. They should have upped this to 1000, and she'd still be bad if it were 1000 static attack and spirit. Just saying. Alright, Vision card. It is a two-sided vision card. On the one hand it has attack, on the other hand it has magic. So at level 10 it's 100 attack and 80 magic, base of course. Passives are 40 attack for swords and great swords. So if you are wearing a sword and great sword in Brave Shift, for example, the combination of the two, you gain 80, 116 total. Which is pretty cool, but again, not gonna do this. 50% magic with a rod also, because Emperor Vlad does not have his own vision card. And FFBE units only gain 50% LB damage. Now, in theory, this would be a great card for Ibarra, but the reality is that we've gotten Luis's card last week, and that is vastly superior. It has 115 magic for Ibarra or Vlad for that matter. It also has 50% LB damage. Well, it does have a little bit less magic, but nobody cares about that. And in the case of Charlotte here, we've gotten Link's vision card last week with 115 attack. So yeah, there's no reason to pick this vision card. It is, I gotta call it right now, 100 attack is weak. I do consider 100 attack weak at this point. We've gotten 115, we are about to get 125 from Sephiroth and Tifa. There is no reason to pick any 100 attack vision card. Also 110 attack from Riku. We also have Arden's and Noctis's vision card, and probably someone else's I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, there's plenty of better cards available right now, and there will be far better in the very near future, as in either next week or in 2 weeks. Yeah, oh, by the way, one thing that I do like to notice is that this card is technically very good for Starlight Elena and Near Vision Awakened Elena, just because it has almost balanced attack and magic, and both are fairly high. It's higher than what Starlight Elena has, for example. So that's good. I have to give it to the vision card. This is a use that I might see happening. It is pretty sweet. Alright, so let's get down to business. Damage calculations. The usual, if you haven't seen my previous assumptions for damage calculations, it's 90% defense break, 300 attack buff, which benefits Charlotte here massively even. 300 LB buff from Zidane's STMR. We are using a Dark Visions stage here. So that is 104 amplification for Link, Nopi, Arden, Last Gen, Zidane, and the Alric brothers. The 104 stems from 45% wind amplification from Bards, 25% from Ferris's field, and the rest of it is then from the Dark Visions field. Noctis and Charlotte both have another element attached to them, so their effectiveness in amplifications is halved, and thus it's 74%. We are facing a 22.5k defense boss with 60% passive defense and 60% elemental resistance. The team is built such that nobody gains an unfair advantage. As an example, Last Gen is super good against dragons, and if I were to calculate Last Gen versus dragons, his damage would get inflated a little bit too much, because you can technically just equip Dream of the Faith and GF extension, thus increasing his attack massively even, and this just doesn't comply with general Dark Visions bosses, because we haven't had a dragon in ages, and there won't be a dragon for the next 2 at least Dark Visions. So I feel like it's always the best assumption to take the worst case, and the worst case is 0 passives, and we're building from the ground up every single one of these units. And to adjust against evocation, which is something that will happen later down the line, I am also using 150% killer buffs. For the Imperils, 130 wind, 125 wind light for Noctis, 125 wind ice for Charlotte. And we are using weapon Imperils, sword and daggers for that matter. So this is the gear Charlotte is wearing. As you can see, she's using in her Brave Shift double her STMR as one-handers. She's built towards a human boss because she's not innately strong against that. And her Brave Shift, pretty much the same. Has to use Indestructible Light though, Master Fate, and that's about it. Alright, so this is Link's build. You've probably seen this from last week. I was too lazy to update it with the actual FFBE equip stuff, but yeah, get the gist of it. Same for Nopi. I will consolidate all the builds probably when Tifa releases, just to have it consolidated. And here's the rest of the competitors. Nothing actually changed from the last weeks. Alright, and here's the damage comparison. So as you can see, Charlotte is at the very bottom, just barely above Ling. So this is a very bad outlook in general for her, and yeah. If you're wondering why I didn't really calculate her Brave Shifted limit burst, yeah, I could have, but the numbers, I have it hidden in this sheet, or on my Excel sheet it's hidden, because it's just 10 million lower, so it's 810-ish million damage. What am I to say, she's just that bad. So yeah, I mean, she deals less damage than a single weapon hit from Arden and Noctis. There's nothing else to say about this, sorry. So yeah, how does she fare in the meta? Outside her general mitigation, which lasts up to 12 turns, which is cool, and 50% magic mitigation, she's utterly useless. Her damage is subpar, barely above Ling, and like I said at the beginning, she belongs at the start of the Near Vision era and not 1 year in. She has absolutely no place in any team for Dark Visions, Clash of Wills, or Trials, so to speak, due to her lacking in every single department other than extra mitigation. It is sad, I feel very bad for all the Charlotte fans, but it is what it is. Charlotte is just not good. And should you poll, I guess the answer is very easy this time, skip. You're not doing yourself a favor if you pull for her other than pulling for sprites or waifus. And she's just not worth it at all. She's an okayish off-banner for her Trustmaster reward, but even then, I feel like at this point in the Neo Vision era, she's just here to make us suffer from off-banners and to further dilute the whole Neo Vision pool that we have. And that concludes today's unit review for Guardian Blade Charlotte. I hope you enjoyed this still, even though the unit is very unexciting. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a nice rest of the Friday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're from. And tomorrow at hopefully 5 PM Central European Summertime, we will discuss Emperor Vlad in the review. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.